So what if I told you that revenue dips are not a normal thing and that there is a way to fix them? I wish it was just one simple way. You know, that's a good hook right there. But there are ways to fix these revenue dips. But in this video, we're gonna go over a couple different ones that I see all the time and that are actually very simple to fix. Now, actually, in my opinion, and I'm a little biased, right? The easiest way and the fastest way to fix all these things is actually to sign up for a Dork audit, okay? So all the info is down below, and then actually I'm gonna go over it more later on in this video. But essentially all a Dork audit is that I come into your company, I look over all your branding stuff, all your marketing stuff, I figure out where the holes are, and then I see how we can help out your company essentially thrive through marketing. You gotta fix your holes first. You gotta fix your foundation first. We have all different types of frameworks and all different types of analogies and all that stuff to just speak it very clearly to you guys. But again, the best and easiest way, in my opinion, is going through the Dork audit. It's a very simple meeting, and then we will show you essentially how to fix it and how we can help you with that. So really quick, who am I? Why should you believe me? Why should you continue to watch this video? So my name is Stephen Kinsley. I own a company called Dork Social Club, as you could probably tell back here. And all we do is we help build bold brands and then market them properly. And like I just said with the Dork audit, we come alongside you and we go, hey, this is what's wrong. This is how you should fix your brand. We'll help you with it. And then this is how you market it properly. And with marketing, right, that is how you get consistent leads, and then how you get consistent clients, how you keep consistent clients, and then how you stay front of mind. Marketing is so freaking good and so important, especially when you have a product. I'm assuming you guys are pen makers. When you have a really good product, right? If you have a really good product, there's a couple different things you need to push that product forward, and one of them is marketing. First things first, this is not a hustle or a motivation problem. Like, I struggled with this personally for a very long time. That, oh, if I just worked harder, if I just was more motivated or had better days or whatever, right? Pretty much what the internet is telling you, but I'm also on the internet telling you stuff. So anyways, take it or leave it. But it's not a hustle thing. It's not a motivation thing, right? These are very, very specific things that you need to do in your company every single day. And then also essentially build this so it'll set you up for the future. So just know this is not I'm just going to work harder to then get more clients, or I'm just going to work harder to, make sure my revenue doesn't, peak or spike or, go down or whatever the case is, right? Just know that it's not a work harder fix, okay? So actually one of the main issues, and this is the main thing that we look at, the very first thing we look at when we do the Dork audit is your foundation. So when we come into a company and we do a Dork audit and we open up your foundation and we open up your brand guide, now, you're gonna know if you have a brand guide or not. So most people, I would say in the 90%, whatever, most businesses do not have any type of brand guide. So they have no idea who they're talking to. They have no idea what their voicing is. They have no idea, essentially their colors and their fonts and their mission statement and their tagline and things like that. Now, us as entrepreneurs, me included, we can fake all this stuff pretty easily. We can go, oh yeah, our tag is whatever. And oh yeah, our ideal client, is kind of like this person over here is whatever. We're really good at faking this. That's why most entrepreneurs were pretty bad at school, but are really good at business, me. So we're really good at kind of pulling this stuff out of our freaking caboodles and just faking it until we make it. We're really good at that. But that is the biggest poison that you can put into your company, because now when you're trying to market, when you're trying to make sure your revenue stays up, you're essentially going, oh, well, you're just putting Band-Aids on things. And especially if you have a team, they have no actual direction. So your foundation is your brand, not a logo, okay? When I say brand, I do not mean logo, okay? That is the very last thing in the brand guide, is once you fix all the brand stuff, then you build a logo, right? Most of the time we have to go backwards and fix stuff and keep your logo and whatever the case is, we can work around that. But just know that the main thing that we look at when we do a Dork audit is we dig into your foundation, okay? Yes, if you really wanted to, you could throw up ChatGPT, you could throw up Claude, but just know the people that we see, we fix a lot of ChatGPT brand guides, a lot of AI brand guides, is because it's hollow. They're not looking at your company. They're not looking at you. They're looking at what everything else in the world, what everything else on the internet, and they're making you a brand guide real quick, and then a dumb freaking AI generated logo, which don't even get me started on. So anyways, that is the first thing that we need to look at, is how are you talking to people? How are you coming across? Your tagline, your mission, your brand voicing, okay, and so on. So that is the main thing that we see with your foundation. So something that you should be asking yourself with this, and we'll get on to the next point in a second, is do you have a brand guide? Do you have a proper foundation? When you're building a home, this is an analogy I give in the Dork audit, is when you're building a home, you have to have a proper foundation. Now, here's the funny thing. I was just talking about this with a dude, is that foundation, dude, who cares about a foundation, right? Foundations aren't sexy. What's sexy is the roof and the grass and the nice maintenance and the cool rocks and the water fountain with dolphins, your front row, or goodness, your front yard and the paint and all that stuff. That is what is sexy, right? But the most important thing for your house is that you don't have any cracks or that your foundation is built properly. It's this weird reverse thing that we have that we skip over this because it's not fun, it's not sexy, but it's the main issue why your business is crumbling or doesn't have good revenue or whatever the case is. So food for thought, think about that, okay? So the second thing actually, and it kind of goes along with the foundation, because this is one of the foundational elements, is your ideal client. If you have no idea who you're talking to, if you have no idea who your product is for, do not say, oh, it's for everyone. The very, 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 very few, actually, I would actually say that no products are for everyone, in my opinion. But if you do not have an ideal client, someone that you're speaking to, you're gonna be very lost. And that is a direct correlation to revenue dips, because essentially, if you don't know who you're talking to, then you don't know who is going to buy your actual product. I mean, I don't know why I'm thinking of like Sephora, but look at the makeup company, right? They have a very specific ideal client that they make up for. Look at Honda. They have a very specific person that they are making those minivans and CRVs for. Look at Audi. Look at freaking F1. Look at, this is a good one. Look at F1. Look at soccer, like FIFA, whatever, right? And then look at football. So whatever, NFL. I was gonna say NHL. Gosh, I'm not a sports guy, as you can tell. But those specific companies, and they are companies, right? They have specific demographics. So if you like this, you're gonna like F1. And if you like this, you're gonna like, if you like Coors and Bud Light and whatever, you're gonna love football, NFL. And if you love being a snob and wearing your tuxes and being better than everybody else, you're gonna love F1, right? I freaking love F1. I'm not any of those, but I think you get my point. So you have to have an ideal client that your product speaks to, and then you build that whole entire brand around that person that your product speaks to. Okay, it's just like reverse engineering thing that a lot of people do not do. So if I say, do you have an ideal client? And you can't go yes and pull up the document, you have an issue, okay? Not you pulling it out of your brain or out of your caboodle like I was talking about earlier with the whole foundation thing. If you cannot go, yes, it's written down, it's printed out, it's so my team can see it, then you have a real issue. And that is another reason why your revenue is dipping. So this next point is kind of a hot take, and it's funny because I'm gonna say these two takes and I feel like no one's gonna be like, oh, we don't have those and we don't do that, right? But essentially, posting pillars are better than just posting frequency, okay? So most people I talk to aren't even posting frequently. They don't have a posting frequency. And then most people I talk to have no idea what posting pillars are. Or if they know what posting pillars are, they don't want anything to do with them because they've tried them and whatever the case is, right? But building a posting pillar, right? And this is again, this is all back to that foundational thing. Again, the very first thing that we go into and we talk about, or we look into with the Dork audit. But posting pillars are super, super important because again, it keeps you focused, right? And so many of my clients go, well, I don't know what to post. Well, look back at your posting pillars. You're only posting one of the pillars. You have 3 more. Or you're only posting 3 out of the 4 pillars. Maybe you should post that 4th pillar. Or a hack that I love is that you look at your 9 grid on Instagram, and you can post anywhere else and just use your 9 grid as an example. But if you only have 3 out of the 4 posts on your 9 grid, you should probably post that 4th one, right? So you should always go back to that 9 grid and go, okay, do I have all 4 of my pillars on that 9 grid? And if you don't, you gotta reevaluate. So my whole point though is that posting pillars, you should pay more attention to that than posting frequency. You could be posting 100 times a day and not posting towards your ideal client or focused on what those posting pillars are, which again, Go back to your voicing, go back to your mission, go back to your ideal client, and all that stuff. You could be posting without that and it not actually working, which is causing revenue dips, right? Because you have no idea what you're even shooting for. You're shooting in the dark, essentially. What I would do if I were you is I would fix those things. I'd fix the foundation, I'd fix the ideal client, and I'd fix the posting pillars. That's what I would do instantly if I was especially having revenue dips, okay? And then you fix those, and then you fix them in your whole entire company through your website, through all your brand stuff, through your posting, through your different marketing outlets. And I'm not just talking social media, okay? I'm talking physical as well. And then you will see those revenue dips go away. It takes time, okay? But that's what I would do. Now, this is the thing, is that most entrepreneurs, and I would say high percentage, right? They are really good at making pencils, or really good at making coffee mugs, or really good at making phone cases, or whatever, right? Whatever your product is, you're really good at making that thing. This is why Dork Social Club exists. So we actually made the Dork audit for this very specific reason, because our whole company is about helping brands get out of these specific situations, right? So this one we're talking about is revenue dips, obviously. So highly recommend you let us come alongside of you, give you a very free Dork audit, at least as of right now. If you're watching this video and it's like 18 years old, things that might be different, right? A very free Dork audit, and then we'll come alongside and help you fix your whole entire company. So you can focus on making good pens, making good, whatever phone cases, right? You can focus on making that good product. So highly recommend, go down below, fill out that form, click that link or whatever, and fill it out. So it's literally my wife and I's passion to help build bold brands and then market them properly, okay? So go fill it out, all that stuff, whatever the case is. Let me know if you have any questions at all. But building a proper foundation is everything, okay? I already gave the analogy of the home, I already said all that stuff. I don't want to repeat myself again, but again, walk into your house and go, man, it'd really suck. What if those 2 bedrooms just didn't even exist because our foundation just failed? Or maybe you live in an older home and it's like 400 years old. That's a little unrealistic, but it's really, really old and it's starting to crack, and you're having issues with your roof, or you're having issues with certain walls, or this is kind of leaning on this side, or it's falling off this cliff. You know how important foundation is. I feel like I don't have to explain that to you, or even think about your car. What if you didn't have tires? You could have the fastest engine in the world, right? You could have the fastest, whatever, you have the comfiest seat. You could have all these amazing things, but if you don't have tires or rims, your car is going nowhere. Okay, if you don't have a frame, your car is going nowhere. So my dad, I actually grew up in like the hot rod world, right? And there was so many times where like companies, right? This is a very common thing, so it's not a bad thing. They would build motors, essentially on stands. And then they sell them. They're called crate motors, right? And so you can buy them and then you put them in your car, right? But that motor does nothing without a proper frame, and a bunch of other elements, right? And then tires and wheels and stuff like that. So you have to look at your company like that. If your company does not have a proper foundation and cannot speak to your people properly, then your engine, your product is going nowhere, hence why you're having revenue dips, okay? Food for thought. Think about that. Go fill out the form for the Dork audit. And seriously, love helping you guys out. Subscribe, I guess. And foundation is crazy, crazy, crazy important. So hopefully this video helped you. And I will talk to you very, 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 hopefully very soon.